You got paid on Friday. By Monday morning, you're checking your account wondering where $200 just disappeared to. It's not like you went crazy. You didn't buy anything expensive. You just grabbed lunch with friends, got gas, picked up some stuff you needed. Nothing major. So, why does it feel like your money evaporated the second it hit your account? Here's what nobody tells you. There's a psychological trap that catches 78% of people your age, and it has nothing to do with being bad with money. Your brain is literally programmed to make you broke by the 15th, and the companies you're buying from know exactly how to exploit it. Once you understand the mechanism, you'll see it everywhere, and you'll know exactly how to break the cycle. Let's talk about what actually happens when you get your paycheck. You're making, let's say, $500 every 2 weeks from your part time job. That's real money. Enough to have some freedom, buy things you want, maybe even start saving. But here's the pattern that plays out for most people. Week one after payday, you're feeling good. You've got money in your account. When someone suggests getting food, you say yes without thinking. When you see something you want online, you buy it. It's not reckless. It's just that you have money, so spending feels normal. Week two, things get tight. You're calculating whether you can afford that $8 lunch or if you should pack something from home. By week three, you're literally counting days until your next paycheck. Sound familiar? This isn't a personal failing. This is your brain operating on something psychologists call the wealth effect. When you have money sitting in your account, your brain registers abundance. You feel wealthy even if objectively you're not. And when you feel wealthy, you spend like you're wealthy. The problem is that this feeling has nothing to do with whether you can actually afford what you're buying. But here's where it gets really interesting. And this is the part that's going to change how you see every purchase from now on. The reason you're broke by the 15th isn't because of one big purchase. It's because of something economists call the invisible drain, and it's specifically designed to empty your account without you noticing. Let me show you exactly how this works through someone who figured it out the hard way. Meet Jordan, 17 and works at Target making $600 a month. Jordan isn't stupid with money, doesn't buy designer clothes, doesn't have expensive habits. But every single month, by the 15th, the account is basically empty. Here's what Jordan's first week actually looked like when we broke down the spending. Monday, coffee before school, $5. Lunch with friends because everyone was going, $14. Tuesday, forgot breakfast, grabbed something at the gas station, $8. Needed phone charger because the old one broke, $18. Wednesday, friends wanted to see a movie, $16 for ticket and snacks. Thursday, tank was low, put in gas, $25. Friday, ordered DoorDash because too tired to cook, $23 with fees and tip. Saturday, went to the mall just to hang out, ended up buying a shirt on sale, $28. 1 week, $137 gone. None of those purchases felt significant. None of them seemed like a bad decision in the moment. This is the invisible drain. Individual purchases that feel harmless but compound into real money. The math is brutal. At that rate, Jordan's burning through $550 per month on things that don't even register as spending. Now here's the psychological mechanism that makes this worse. Your brain processes small purchases differently than large ones. When you're deciding whether to buy a $400 gaming console, your brain activates what's called deliberative thinking. You weigh the pros and cons, consider whether you can afford it, maybe sleep on the decision. But a $7 lunch? That doesn't trigger the same process. It's below your brain's threshold for financial concern. Companies know this. This is why DoorDash breaks down fees into small chunks. Delivery fee, service fee, small order fee, instead of showing you one big number. This is why video games sell $5 skins instead of $50 DLC packs. This is why streaming services are $11 per month instead of $132 per year. Small numbers bypass your financial defenses. Your brain literally doesn't register them as threats to your money. But here's what changes everything. Research from the National Endowment for Financial Education has found that people who track their spending, just writing down what they buy, reduce their unnecessary purchases by 23% without even trying to cut back. Why? Because tracking forces your brain to process each purchase deliberately instead of automatically. When Jordan started tracking every single purchase for 1 week, literally just typing it into phone notes, Something clicked. Seeing coffee $5 3 times in 2 days made it real. Adding up all those food delivery fees and realizing it was $70 in 1 month made the invisible suddenly very visible. Jordan didn't need to become some extreme budgeting person. Just seeing the pattern was enough to start making different choices. Now let's talk about the second part of this trap: subscription creep. You're paying for Spotify, Netflix, iCloud storage, maybe Discord Nitro or Game Pass. Each one is like $10 to $15, right? Not a big deal. Except when you add them up, you're spending $50 to $80 every single month on things you signed up for and forgot about. That's $600 to $960 per year. For someone making $500 to $600 per month, that's almost 2 full paychecks going to subscriptions. And here's the genius evil of subscription pricing: companies deliberately keep it just below the pain threshold. $12.99 feels manageable. $155.88 per year for the same service would make you think twice. They're counting on you not doing the math. They're counting on that monthly charge being small enough that you don't notice it leaving your account. Silence is profit for them. The third mechanism keeping you broke is something called present bias. Your brain values immediate pleasure way more than future benefit. When you're deciding between saving $20 or using it for a DoorDash right now, your brain doesn't just slightly prefer DoorDash. It values that immediate meal about 2.5 times more than the same $20 saved for later. This isn't weakness. This is literally how human psychology works. We evolved to prioritize immediate survival over long-term planning because for most of human history, there was no guarantee you'd even have a tomorrow. But we're not living in survival mode anymore. The problem is your brain hasn't caught up. So when you get paid, your brain sees abundance and wants to enjoy it now. The idea of saving for next month feels abstract and distant, while buying something you want right now feels concrete and real. This is why willpower alone doesn't work. You're fighting against millions of years of evolutionary programming. So what actually works? You need to make future you feel as real as present you. Here's a tactic that sounds weird but is backed by psychology research. People who imagine themselves at age 25 with either money saved or in debt make dramatically different spending decisions. Not just thinking about it abstractly, actually visualizing the specific scenario. Would future you rather have $3,000 saved up or be stressed about making rent because of DoorDash orders you barely remember? Okay, so what can you actually do with this? Here are 3 things you can implement before your next paycheck. First, track everything for 1 week. Not forever, not as some permanent lifestyle change, just 7 days. Use your phone's notes app, a spreadsheet, whatever. Every single purchase, write it down immediately. Coffee, $5. Lunch, $12. The goal isn't to judge yourself. The goal is to make the invisible visible. What you'll find: at least 3 to 5 purchases you don't even remember making that add up to $50 to $100. That awareness alone will change your behavior. Second, audit your subscriptions this weekend. Go through your bank statement for the last month. Write down every recurring charge, then ask yourself, did I actually use this? Not, might I use it someday? Did you actually use it this month? Cancel anything you didn't. You can always resubscribe later if you actually miss it, but I guarantee you won't miss most of them. This alone could free up $20 to $40 per month. Third, set up what I call the instant save system. The day you get paid, before you buy anything, move $50 to $100 to a separate savings account. It doesn't have to be your bank's savings account. You can literally just get a free high-yield account online from Allie or Marcus if you're 18, or have a parent help you set one up if you're younger. The key is moving it immediately before your brain registers that money as spendable. You can't miss what you never saw in your checking account. Start small if $100 feels impossible. Even $25 per check adds up to $650 per year. That's the difference between starting next year broke or starting it with actual breathing room. So remember, you're not broke by the 15th because you're bad with money. You're broke because your brain is wired to value immediate pleasure over future security, and because companies deliberately price things to slip past your financial defenses. The invisible drain, those small, forgettable purchases, does more damage than any single big purchase ever could. But now you see the mechanism. You understand why your money disappears. And that awareness is the first step to keeping it. Most people don't figure this out until they're 25 in debt, wondering where it all went wrong. You're learning this now. That's a real advantage. Hey, if this made the money thing make more sense, subscribe so you catch the next one. Drop a comment. What's the one purchase you make all the time that you didn't realize was draining your account? Let's see if we're all getting hit by the same stuff. Your future self is watching what you do with this information. Make them proud.